Hey everyone, I'm your astrologer, Brittany of Ethereal Astrology, with horoscopes inspired by the moon. Let me be your guide. Today you're watching your astrology horoscope for the full moon in Gemini, which occurs on Wednesday, December 7th, 2022 at 11:07 p.m. Eastern Time and 8:07 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, what I think is going on at this full moon in Gemini is that we are receiving some very important insights about what to do next in our lives that's new, different, and better that we've really been waiting to get for quite some time. But even though we're receiving some of these important insights, we don't like these insights here, are unhappy with them, possibly even angry about them as well, sad, depressed, and dejecting them or forcing them to be something that they're not, which is not pleasant to say the least here, and very hard that we're going to have to learn to come to terms with, because these insights are good and they aren't going away. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. If you would like to hear more about that, please do stay tuned, because we're hopping right into it right now. In order to get started, what I like to do first is, of course, place on the chart what it is that I'm referring to so that you can see it and follow along with me. So let me do that now. Here, this video is for the full moon in Gemini. As a result, I've adjusted this chart accordingly. Here is the moon in Gemini in this chart, making an exact opposition over here to the sun in Sagittarius. Okay, when the moon opposes the sun as such, that is considered here a full moon. Now, what are full moons about? Full moons are all about stepping into things that we really have been working towards for quite some time. Not only that, but they're also a lot about completing things, bringing things to fullness, and also to illumination, since that is when the moon is the brightest here in the sky. Okay, what are we stepping into or getting illumination on that we've been really working towards for quite some time? Well, this full moon is in Gemini. What is Gemini about? Well, Gemini is an air sign ruled by Mercury. It is a lot about ideas and information here, and insights, and just better thoughts. I want to say better, more clear thoughts here about our situation. So what that means to me here is that at this full moon in Gemini, which is what this video is for, we are stepping into, I think, some pretty significant ideas, insights, information here about ourselves, about our situations in life that we've been waiting for quite some time here. Okay. Now, before I move forward to tell you more about that theme in particular and how it's going to more specifically manifest, I do just want to go backwards in time for a minute here before I go forwards to give you a little bit more context here of why this is going on and why this is now coming up as a theme to be felt, lived through, and experienced. And to go back in time, I'm going to go back to quite a bit, but just hit a few high points. And I think what I'm going to go back to is, of course, the very beginning of 2020, roughly January to April. Okay, and between January to April of 2020, we had Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter come into a very significant and rare conjunction towards the last degrees of Capricorn. Here, this I need to note is a very challenging alignment because Saturn and Pluto are involved, which are malefic planets, and only occurs about once every 35 years, and not always with Jupiter there. What was that about? Well, Pluto is a lot about change. Jupiter makes that change very big, and Saturn in Capricorn, its home sign, has a lot to do about the structure of our lives. That was difficult to make, difficult change to make, and difficult, I think, over the course of the past few years as well. So what that means to me is that in January to April of 2020, we realized we didn't really like our lives and the way they had been going, and that we needed to make big change, sweeping change in the structure of it in order to overcome it, which we also didn't like, which was also very hard here as well. That was coming up, that, to be honest, took us quite some time to do till about the beginning of this year, April-ish, April of 2022, at a solar eclipse that we had, a new moon in Taurus. And that time this year, we finally, I think, had made enough of the changes. I don't want to say all of the changes, but I'm going to say enough. And we finally made enough of the changes to escape some old things in life we didn't like, to get us just in a bit, just in the tip of a new and better experience of life here, just a little bit, so that we could feel a little bit Taurus, more stable, more secure in this different and better experience, which I think was good. here for us. But even though that was a good thing in April of 2022, when it came to 2 weeks after that, very quickly, I think it was like May, around that time, April, May of 2022, at the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, right about here, we then had difficulty taking this little new and better chapter in life that we had just secured and really moving it to the next level and making it even newer and even bigger and even better. We had a lot of difficulty doing that. That was hard, making us feel stuck. And I think what we realized around May of this year is that the reason why we were in a little bit of a better experience but had difficulty moving it further and expanding on that is because we were still trying to do a new and better experience of life by an old way that we were trying to leave behind in 2020 and before that here, that was preventing us from really moving forward. And the old behaviors that were no longer necessary in order for us to move forward were ones in which we were changing too much. Here had too many negative emotions and were too entwined with other people and perhaps their opinions and their lives and what was going on there. And that instead what we needed to do was heal our emotions, feel better emotionally, here rely more on ourselves instead of other people, and get more in tune with our needs and values and what's truly important to us as we move forward. Okay, that's what we realized then. And again, it took us time. It took us time here to really get that through our heads that new behaviors are now needed for our new experience of life. But we did eventually start to get it around Leo season this year, which is what, August here of 2022, when we had a new moon in Leo, when Mars made a conjunction here to Uranus and the North Node in Taurus. And I think we started to get it then that if we ever had any dream of moving forward in a new and better experience of life and making it bigger and better, we needed to adopt these different behaviors, slower, more self-reliant, better emotions, things like that. And we started to do it. But even though we started to adopt these better, I think, experiences here and behaviors to move our lives forward from August to really, last month, October, around the solar eclipse in Scorpio, I think we still had difficulty really experiencing this like big growth, and fast growth in our lives that we wanted. I just don't think it was really happening. And I think what we started to realize around last month, November, all right, the solar eclipse in Scorpio 2022, is that the reason why we weren't really experiencing this big growth quite yet is because we still had old beliefs, old mindsets, old people, old places, old things here in our lives that were still holding us back from like these new experiences still after all this time, that we hadn't gotten rid of, that were not in alignment with us, especially the more that we learned about ourselves, and that we needed to get rid of those. And we did. And because we finally got rid of more things that weren't working for us, that aren't meant to move with us forward into the future, we then at the new moon in Sagittarius 2 weeks ago or whatever, started to think now about what's next. Thank goodness, about now finally moving forward more with what we originally, I think, wanted to do in April of this year in a new, different, and better way that's actually going to work this time and be more in alignment with our needs and values here. And that was a good thing. But even though that was a good thing, which we did about 2 weeks ago, I think we really struggled to get the answers and the insights about what this new and different and better thing is. That is what we really want to do after this point that's going on. That was really frustrating, I think, and confusing for us here in some way. And I think we really struggled to get these answers and insights because I think we just needed some time to kind of let the dust settle from everything that had occurred and just attune more to spirit. And I do believe that we have done that. And because we fixed a lot of those things, we now, this full moon in Gemini, for which this video is for, finally get the answers and the insights we were waiting for about what to do next that's new, different, and better in our lives and more in alignment with ourselves, our needs and values. Okay. And that's it. Because that's it, I'm now just going to repeat all of that one last time very quickly without the astrological jargon so that hopefully you can get a better idea of what is going on here. So let me do that now. What I think is going on this full moon in Gemini, for which this video is for, is that we are finally getting ideas and insights about what to do that's new, different, and better in our lives and more in alignment with who we are. And I think more long lasting will actually last this time. And these are ideas and insights that we're getting that we've been waiting for quite a while, that we've been waiting for, you could say, over the course of the past 3 weeks. But I can also trace it back to, we've been waiting for these answers since April of this year. And I can also trace it back to at the beginning of 2020 and maybe even before that when Saturn was in Sag in 2017. So I think we've been waiting for these answers for a very long time about what to do next in our life that's different and better. And now they're here. Okay. That's going on that is very significant and I think meant to be helpful. Okay, because that's it. I'm now going to move more into the specifics of this full moon here and what it's all about and how it might play out here as we feel more into the energy. So I'm going to do that. And to do that, I'm going to talk about just a few of the important aspects that are going on at this time here, especially in regards to that full moon itself. The first aspect that I want to talk about is probably the one that's the most significant and the most obvious, which is the fact that this full moon here is conjunct Mars. We've got the moon conjunct Mars and the sun opposite it here. Okay, so I want to talk about that. What is that about? This is very uncomfortable, very unpleasant, and a very challenging alignment here. Why is this a challenging alignment? Well, Mars is an aggressive planet by nature, right? It's the ancients consider the planet of war because it's aggressive and frustrating here. Not only is that why it's a challenge, but it's also retrograde. So it's also not really functioning up to par in the way that it might like. In addition to that, it's making an opposition to the sun, and an opposition is a hard aspect here, and it's conjunct the moon, and the moon is very sensitive here and doesn't like this aggressive planet rubbing up all on it. So this is a bit of a challenging thing here that's going on. What is the challenge? Well, when Mars goes negative, it brings anger. It brings anger and at ourselves in particular, but can also bring anger at other people, even though the issue really has nothing to do with other people. Here that's going on. Not only can it bring anger, it can bring frustration, you know, a lot of inner just like frustration and anxiety and tension here that is not that pleasant. Not only that, but it's in Gemini, right? And Gemini has a lot to do with the mind. So not only can it bring anger and frustration, it can make our mind doing funny things here that can be unhelpful and unpleasant, working in weird ways, can make the mind forgetful, right? Sometimes with it retrograde, sometimes that can happen. Or if not forgetful, it can make the mind rehash and rethink with the retrograde, rethink things here that I think we really already have the answer on here. That can be really frustrating. That's going on. Okay, why are we so angry? Why are we so upset? We just got some answers we've been waiting for forever. Why are we so upset? I think the reason why we're upset is because I don't think we like the answers we received. You know, I don't think we like the ideas and the insights that this full moon in Gemini is bringing here, and we are rejecting them. We're rejecting them. We're denying them. We don't want them to be true, and we're trying to force them to be something that they're not. Okay, why don't we like these ideas? Well, the sun is in Sagittarius, where I need to note the eclipses were in 2020 and Saturn was in 2017-ish. Okay, Sagittarius, where the sun is ruled by Jupiter, one of the biggest planets in our solar system, and it's a fire sign, right? It's big, it's fiery, it's passionate, it's excitable here. And we get a full moon in Gemini ruled now by the smallest planet, one of the smallest planets in the solar system. It's an air sign, less emotional, you know, cool and calm. So I think what we're mad about here is that these ideas and these insights that we're now receiving, they're small. They're small ideas, they're less emotional, they're simpler, they're more basic, and there's not these big fiery, passionate, magical experiences and ideas that we were hoping for that prove we're destined for greatness, you know. So I think that that's kind of what's going on here. That's very, very, very hard. Okay, not only is that a hard alignment, but this full moon is also, I think, in fairly close enough aspect to another very difficult alignment as well. And that's going to be that this full moon, which includes both the sun and the moon here, are in a square to Neptune in Pisces here, which just recently, I need to note, went direct here. This is also a bit of a challenge. Why is this a bit of a challenge here? Because it's a square, and squares are difficult. And Neptune as well can be a challenge in general, because it's a planet that's just further out from where we live and therefore functions in a different way. And also too, because Neptune and Gemini really don't, and Mercury, right, which correlates to Gemini, really don't get along here. Especially that's hard. What is the difficulty? Well, you know, Neptune's known for self-deception, deceiving ourselves, lying to ourselves, if you will. That's going on. Not only is it known for that, maybe it's like self-sabotage, perhaps, right, with the Pisces, Neptune, Pisces. Not only that, but it can also bring to confusion, especially with Mars retrograde in Gemini. It can bring confusion now. Not only can it bring that, but it can transform this anger to sadness. It can bring sadness, Neptune dejection, maybe even depression to me, can skew a little bit more Neptune here. That can come as well. That can be very, very hard, and overwhelm and exhaustion and exasperation, just beside ourselves here that's going on. Okay. So what does that mean to me, right? To continue to bring it together here is that we are, I think, getting a very significant insight here about our lives and what to do next. It's new, different, and better, and more in alignment with who we are becoming, that we've been waiting for, I think, for a very long time, that you can trace back to multiple timelines, really within like the past 5 or 6 years of our lives. I mean, this has been a while here. That I think we've been needing. But even though we're getting some important insights, we do not like these insights. We do not like them. They're not what we wanted to hear. They're not what we wanted to hear, because they're not big, exciting, magical insights about how we're destined for greatness and what to do next. They're small, they're simple, they're basic here ideas that's going on that makes us feel small and unimportant here. That is very hard for us, making us angry about these insights, upset about them, or angry at other people just because we're mad at ourselves here, and is making us fight against them, fight these ideas here, and try to make them, rethink them, and make them something that they're really not meant to be. And because we're kind of fighting against these ideas, I think we're deceiving ourselves. We're lying to ourselves, saying we didn't get ideas, we didn't get insights, when we really did. Here, that's going on. That's making us even more confused, because we're deceiving ourselves, not thinking we got insights here, making us feel dejected and depressed, that nothing we're doing is working, that we're not getting any insights that we need, or at least not any that are workable in our situation, and exhausted and exasperated and overwhelmed, which is just a huge, sad, angry to sad spiral downwards here. That's not that great. Okay. Because that's hard, and I think this is really all I'm going to say for the most part in this video. I'm going to give you some advice now here with this alignment, especially too because Neptune did just recently go direct, and it's supposed to be a good thing, right? Like when a planet goes direct, it's supposed to be good because we're getting some kind of forward momentum in some part of our lives. So I'm going to give you some kind of advice here with the Neptune and Pisces here. What is the advice that I want to give you? Well, Neptune and Pisces has a lot to do with surrendering. It has a lot to do with surrendering, especially to the divine and to our intuition and to a higher power, with it being in Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac, which is very spiritual. So I think part of the advice is to surrender to these insights, and because these insights have come, and I think they're good ones, to surrender to these insights and to receive and accept them and trust the divine, right? To trust and have faith. That's also Neptune and Pisces, words that the divine is guiding us in a better direction here through these insights that it is that we're receiving here. Not only is the advice here to stop fighting these ideas and stop wishing they're something that they weren't, but to surrender to the ideas that we have. They're the best we've got. And I think they're all we're going to get. To surrender to those and have trust and faith that they're going to work. But other Neptune words are patience. To be patient while we, I think, parse through more and think more about these ideas we currently have and about how we can work with them better here. That I think is going to help. Okay. And if we can do that, stop fighting these ideas and stop feeling so exhausted and exasperated and bound, and stop lying to ourselves, and just accept the fact that these are ideas we've received, and maybe they're not the ideas we thought we'd get, maybe they're not the ideas we wanted, but they're all that we have. If we can do that and trust that it's meant for our highest good and be calm and patient, I then think it's going to help us. I think it's going to help us here because of the next and the last alignment I believe I'm really going to mention here in this video, which is going to be this moon, the full moon in Gemini here, making a trine to Saturn in Aquarius. Okay. And I want to interpret this last alignment as a very helpful thing that's going on because it is a trine. Okay. And I do tend to interpret trines more helpful or not. And you need to note if a planet here is trining a part of the full moon, it's sextiling another, which is also a very good thing. So sextiling the sun here. So I'm going to interpret this helpful. What is the helpful thing going on here? Well, Aquarius, where Saturn is, has a lot to do with being more calm, right? Calm-headed. It's also an air sign, cool, calm, collected. Okay? Not only does Aquarius have to do with that, but it also has to do with kind of innovative solutions or unique ways of looking at things here that might be a little non-traditional. Not only that, but it also has to do as well with the future, you know, and getting a better understanding about our future and what's kind of meant for us that's more authentic to us here as we move forward. So what that means to me here is that if we can stop fighting against, you know, these ideas that we're getting here, and accept them and receive and trust that they're meant for our highest good here, then what I believe is going to happen is that we're going to feel more calm, right? More cool-headed, more collected here, and we're going to be able to come up with better ways, more unique and innovative ways, not of going back on these ideas we've already seen, but of working with the ideas we already have. That's going to give us a clearer shot of our future and our next steps, and make us feel, I think, more better about a lot of that, and more together. You know, Saturn can bring cohesion, make us feel more cohesive, more together, more supported in some way with what needs to occur next. Okay, and I think that's all I'm going to mention here in this video. There are some other things that I suppose are going on that I could talk about, but I think I'm just going to cut it here for now. I think the reasons I'm going to cut it here for now, maybe I should share with you. My sister's been pregnant, and she had her baby a few days ago. It's not her first child. It's her third, and it's not my first niece or nephew. But you know, it's always exciting to have a celebration of new life. So I've been trying to help her with that, and some babysitting, and to see the baby and things like that. That's been going on here. And I'm just making a lot of changes here with my business that I'm still in the process of. That's still going to take me another few weeks to do, few months probably. That's just like all over the place. That's going on. And I want to watch the results. I live in Georgia, of the Georgia election that's going on today. So I'm like, I think I'm just going to cut it there for now, before we get back to our regularly scheduled content on another moon. I'm going to cut it there, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat now. So let me do that. What I think is going on at this full moon in Gemini, which a lot of you should know. I've got tons of planets in Gemini, by the way. What I think is going on at this full moon in Gemini is that we are receiving here a very important insight here about our lives and our next steps and what to do after this that's new, different, and better, and more in alignment with who we are becoming, which is an insight I think we've actually been waiting to receive for many months, and possibly even years prior to this point. And I do think that it is a good idea and insight, but even though it's a good thing that's happening, I don't think we like the idea, and I don't think we really like the insight that we're getting at this time. And I don't think we like the idea or the insight here because we wanted it to be bigger and to feel more exciting and more passionate and more magical than it really is. And because this idea that we got feels small, simple, basic. Here that I think is really hard for us. And because we don't like this idea and it feels so small, simple, basic, I think we are angry and upset that this is the idea that we had, and we're fighting against the idea about our next steps in life, trying to make it something that it's not here, or rethink it. Not only that, but I think we might also too, if we're not fighting against this idea, be in denial that we got any idea at all, or any idea that's workable here. That can make us also very confused, and not only very confused, but transform this same anger into sadness here, dejection, depression, exhaustion, and exasperation, that nothing we're doing is working here, and that we feel stuck, which is very miserable and very upsetting and very challenging here with this full moon in Gemini. And very hard. And because that's very hard, and there's a big potential for us to be very emotionally volatile this full moon and spiral downwards, I'm now going to give you some advice. And the advice for this full moon in Gemini here is to stop fighting against this idea that you got, to stop fighting against the original idea that you got around the time of this full moon in Gemini, and just accept it. Okay, just accept it for what it is here and trust and have faith that it is for your highest good and that you will like the insight over time and that you will figure out how to work with it better and remain calm and patient throughout the process. And as you think more things through, and to not overreact and do something stupid here. And if you can do that, then that's then going to help you calm down, be more cool, calm, and collected, figure out how to work with this insight in a more unique and innovative way that's more authentic to you, and see a better vision of your future after this point, which I think is going to be more useful for you as you move forward. Okay. And that's it. That's all I want to say here. We got a good idea. We just don't like it here, creating all types of issues, anger to sadness, to denial, to confusion, okay? And we don't like it because it's too small and simple and basic and not big, exciting like we wanted it to be. Perhaps that's going on. So small that some of you may even miss it. So small of an insight that some of you may even miss it, but the thing I want to leave you with now before I look at your inside degrees is that sometimes the smallest truths, the smallest insights are the biggest ones. Sometimes the smallest truths, right? Mercury, Gemini are the biggest ones, Sag, Jupiter. And sometimes the smallest insights are the most true. Because why? Because when something's small and simple and basic, it doesn't have all these bells and whistles that you don't need. It doesn't have all these bells and whistles, just for appearances, just to keep up with all this other stuff. It's true. It's to the point. It's the heart of the matter of what's really going on. So I think that's what you need to understand. You don't like the insight because it's small and simple, but it's a good one, because sometimes small and simple insights are the best. They're the best because they're the most true, the most real, without the bells and whistles that get to the heart of the matter and don't put on airs. And that's actually going to work. And that's what we need. We've been trying to get to a new and better chapter in life for quite some time. It's been at least 2 years, but possibly even longer than that when Saturn was in Sag. It's been such a long time here. We've been trying to get to a new, different, and better chapter of life, and it hasn't happened yet. After how long have we been trying? And I think part of the reason why it hasn't happened yet is because these things about new, different, and better experience in life that we've been trying to think of, they've been too big, they've been too complicated, they've been too complex. These ideas that we've had, and they've been unnecessary. We've been trying to get to a new and better chapter in life with our eyes wide, like we're in a candy shop here. And while that's an exciting experience, it's just not realistic here. And it's hard to work with big stuff in order to move forward. And when you try to get in a new chapter in life, but you got all these ideas, it makes it hard to know where to start. And sometimes you start on the wrong thing. And we need something that's going to work. And in order for us to get into a new and better chapter in life, we need to start small, simple, realistic, because that is going to get real results. Like, you understand? I don't know if I'm saying it in the best way, but I want you to be clear here. The reason why we haven't gotten into a new, better, and chapter in life is because it's taken us so long, is because our ideas have been too big or too unfocused or not authentic to us. And now finally we get a small idea that's actually real, true to us, that's actually workable, and we don't like it. Even though it's the thing that's going to work, and we need to get to like it. We need to get to like it. And we need to not try to change the idea to make the idea more of what we want it to be, because what you want it to be hasn't been working. We need to change what we want the idea to be what the idea is. Do you see this? Don't change the idea to be what you want. Change what you want to be what the idea is. That's what needs to happen. And that's what's going to help, because I do think that this idea that we're getting is divinely inspired, right? It's Sag season. Sag does have a lot to do with religion, and Jupiter's in Pisces here, which is a lot about spirit and the divine. I think this small idea comes from a very divine place here. And I think the divine knows what it's doing, and we need to get on board with that instead of the other way around. Okay, and I think that's all I'm going to say there. Now we're going to take a look at your inside degree here. Just to give another perspective here on this energy, the inside degrees were not written by me, but they were written by another person named Elias Lonsdale, who channeled the meanings of each of the degrees from spirit. And I really love these interpretations, so that's why I bring them in here. The degrees I like, well, I should say this, the degree of the full moon is at 15 degrees Gemini here. And I like 15 Gemini here and 16 Gemini. That is written. I think they're both interesting and relevant. So we're going to look at those two. In Gemini, 15 degrees Gemini, it says there's a universal source spring of renewed life forces and reawakened, expanded awareness, which is on tap for those who venture there. So one thing that means to me straight away is that what is going on at this full moon is that there is some kind of universal consciousness or universal, awareness, expanded awareness, right? That we're tapping into, and that we're receiving at this time, which is that idea that we're getting that I really originally told you about. Okay. It says most characteristic of this realm of expanded awareness is its common ground, free access, and broad representation. And what I get from this, right? It's common. I think that's what stands out to me. It's common here. And it's free, and it's kind of representative of, broad. I don't know if broad, I'm getting simple. I'm getting like common and simple. So I think what else this is saying to me to continue to bring it together here is that at this full moon in Gemini, we are tapping into an expanded awareness here that's giving us important higher insights about ourselves and our lives. And the expanded awareness is giving us insights that are kind of common. They're kind of common here, and they're kind of basic, when something can represent a broad group of people, right? It's kind of basic. I think there's something common and something basic about here that's going on. Okay. You are everybody at once, converging towards sisterhood and brotherhood. There's something, yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll continue. It says the sudden, drastic, and astounding universal life stream toward the future being there. Just like that, serendipity and chance, fortune and synchronicity, okay? Another thing that this means to me here is that this idea that comes at this full moon in Gemini that is from expanded awareness that's common and basic here may come unexpectedly here or through some kind of weird synchronicity or something like that that's happening, okay? The only thing asked is to make way, to cast off the outer covering of separative identity and to open the path and let it flow. Okay. So the next thing that means to me as we move throughout this degree, we're getting an awareness from expanded consciousness, right? From the divine that we're tapping into here, which is very good, which may be coming unexpectedly or through a chance, encounter or something like that here. And it's common and it's basic here and very helpful here. And it says all we have to do with this idea is to simply receive it, right? To simply receive the idea and let go of the identity that is making us feel like we're different from the idea here, or the idea is not ours, or we can't work with it, okay? It says next, however, this is so easy and natural, we can pass it right by and miss the chance, miss the idea, and miss what the problem is with the idea. Here, it takes an urgent call and a trick of destiny to reveal that as close as can be, open doors to the infinite are waiting for those who can drop the disguise and come to the party as they truly are. So to continue with this inside degree, right, it's saying we are getting, I think, a download from a higher realm at this time that we're tapping into, which is very good. And this download that we're getting is one that's more common, basic, and really freeing to us, authentic to us here. And it's coming through perhaps synchronicities or chance or an unexpected means, which is all very positive. And all we need to do to receive this positive gift, which is what it is to get out of our own way, and remove the ego and the identity that tells us that this idea isn't ours, and to receive it. But that is so easy. I think the idea is so easy, but the idea is so easy we can miss the idea and not know that we got it. And realizing that we just need to get out of our own way and let it happen is also so easy that we may not even see it's necessary and may overlook its importance here and not even do it. That can be very hard here and create a whole bunch of issues here that we need to be aware of so that we can shake some more things loose, okay? Because really what it is, right, is our ego's in the way. Our ego, our ego and identity is in the way. We think that for the insights we got, that they're not for us. They're not for us. They're not who we always thought we were here, or they're not as grandiose, as important as we thought we were. Okay, that then leads me now, the last degree I'm going to read here, 16-degree Gemini. It says, the sun shines so bright that it compels all of us to empty ourselves out and bake in the light and the warmth of spirit. We are transfixed by solar power and impelled to unite with our destiny, no matter how extravagant or unlikely that destiny proves to be. Here we go again with the emptying ourselves out, right? The releasing the ego, the releasing the identity, the releasing everything we thought we knew about ourselves here, so that we can unite with the insight, with the destiny that is coming. Okay. And in order to do that, right, we have to let go of a whole lot. Okay. So I think that's all I'm going to say there, is that these inside degrees to me are saying we're getting an insight about what to do next in our lives. It's very good. It's coming from an expanded awareness, higher consciousness, which is great. And it's coming perhaps unexpectedly and possibly through fortune, chance, or synchronicity. But even though we are receiving these insights, and all we need to do with these insights is just receive them here and get out of our own way. But even though that's what is going on and what we need to do, it's hard for us to just receive these insights and get out of our own way because we're too concerned with our ego and with our identity and with our pride. Here, that's tripping things up because these ideas are so common and basic and for everyone and not special for us. That's hard, that we need to let go of. We need to let go of the identity, which is very hard. It's very hard to do, in order to make that occur. So that's what I get from there. It really does hit home that a big part of the issue here is pride and our identity and who we always and who we thought we would be, who we always thought we would be or always thought we were as well. Okay, that needs to be adjusted. Now I'm going to take a look here at your card. I should also say too, sorry, another random thought before I pull your card. I'm connecting with a designer to help me design a logo and everything for my new business name, Ethereal Astrology, and to kind of better work out my video covers and my newsletters. I've just been having a whole issue for like this whole year over how I want to design stuff, and I'm tired of being frustrated about the design. So I working with a designer. I met with her today, and I'm very excited and hopeful for that process, even though it's probably going to take a few more weeks. But this is going on, a lot of things going on. I'm looking forward to. It's just going to take some time to bring together here. Now your card for this video is the 10 of Wands here reversed, and we've got the 6 of Cups reversed here at the bottom of the deck. The 10 of Wands upright is about feeling burdened. And when I see the 10 of Wands reversed, it's like lay down your burdens, lay down your burdens here. And the 6 of Cups reversed is about the past, and about old things and the way things were and what's gone on there. So I think the message that I'm getting from the cards is like, lay down your burdens and stop focusing on the past and stop worrying about the past. And the bad things, especially that happened there. What's done is done, What's done is done. The past is the past. You can't get that back. Unfortunately, that's always going to exist. The past, it's done. You can't get that back. Stop looking at all of these bad things that occurred and instead, and about all these things that didn't turn out the way you wanted it to turn out. Even this idea that you're getting, stop thinking about that and instead look on the bright side. Look on the bright side of what good things you do have in your life and of what all the possibility and opportunity you can do next. And of the blessings that you do have, that you are lucky to have, that are around you here at this time. Start thinking more about that, the bright side, and what is yet to come in the future here, because if you can do that, I think you're going to realize that you're actually in a better place than you thought, or there's a lot more options than you thought here at your disposal that I think are going to work for you. We've got the Ace of Pentacles next to the bottom of the deck, bringing more stability here, or more abundance into your life and confidence than it is that you might have thought. Okay, so I think that's all I've got there Thank you so much for watching. I hope this is helpful for you. I hope that you all have a good full moon the best you can. This one's a rough one here, and I will talk to you on the next video. If you like it, please like this video on YouTube, share it with your friends, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.